Greetings, greetings, and welcome to When the Moment Chooses You. I am your host, Coach Charlene, and I am so blown away and happy to have a repeat guest, EJ. EJ, have got to like pronounce your name for me because it's beautiful.
Of course, Ije Udeze Nwosu.
Man, so beautiful. And then I want you to tell us what that means in just a second. But welcome to the show. I'm so glad to have you.
Thank you so much. And I just have to say, every time I get a call from you, I'm picking it up. So just know that you already know.
Oh,
And
oh.
I am just the journey that you are on and the freedom that you are experiencing and the example that you are being to women and people in general is just it's amazing. And so I thank you for all that you are doing and for showing up and for being you when you show up. And so I am trusting me in your hands. Take me to where you would like to go.
Okay, girl, let's go together. But first of all, I always want to check out. I'm not really going to set context because the really when the moment chooses you, I think I've said a lot about that, but it's really about destiny moments, those moments that call us to disrupt, to transform, or to do something different. So um, I want to talk to you though about who you are because people may not have seen your first episode, but I really encourage you to go back because she was cutting up on that first session. And so, why don't you start with just telling us who you are, and then we'll go from there.
Absolutely. So I am my I think this is I'm not sure if this has changed since the last time we talked, but my claim to fame now is and my proudest title is Ejima or twin mom. And I am a mommy to 2.5-year-old twin angels. I'm going to speak life. Twin
Yes.
angel girls um, who are, my life source and all that there is. I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm an executive, I am a philanthropist, I am a friend, I am a host, I'm a lot of different things, but most of all, I am an advocate for equity and all things that are good and fair. And I have the Pollyanna in me, which is I just want the world to be a better place and figuring out how we all figure out our roles in making that happen.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I one of the things that I most remember about you is I was in the Women in Leadership program and you were the guest speaker. And I mean, my mouth was probably like wide open as I was listening to you. And you said this one thing that I still use it today because it's so on point is that we can be masterpieces and works in progress all at the same time. And it has such rich connotation for me because, like, you don't have it all together. Sometimes you're struggling trying to figure this thing out, but to see yourself as a masterpiece
Absolutely.
is pretty profound. So I would love for you to share with the audience, like what is your role with working with women, in particular women leaders?
Absolutely. And I'd love to claim that that quote was mine, but it's not. But I think that is also women uplifting women
Yes,
because it really is. It's true. You can simultaneously be a masterpiece and a work in progress. And I think the day that we feel as though we have arrived is the day that we is our decline.
absolutely.
Um, so, from very, very early on, I went to, and I blame my parents, it's their fault. I went to all girls school for 6 years. And when I was there, I was like, why did they put me in this place? But it really created a shift in um, knowing that there is inequity in the world as it relates to women and never embracing it,
Hmm.
never accepting that as the norm, never accepting it as that's okay, and knowing that this will be a constant journey um, and focus to really, it's not quite the anything you can do, I can do better. Anything you can do, I will do my way and
Yes.
get to the result that needs to get to be. And I'm not competing with you.
Well, that's
And so,
powerful. That is so powerful because, just what I've
mm,
witnessed is women. really tearing each other down instead of lifting
Mhm.
each other up. So one thing I noticed about you, just even in your speech that you had for us, it was so empowering. Like I felt so seen and I felt so like powerful. After you finished talking, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go conquer the world.
And that's, you want people to walk away and feel that there is something, there's a beauty when I talk to you where it's, I don't have any doubt questioning what my abilities are or what I'm capable of. And you want people to walk away, especially if you're working with them in any way, shape, or form, be it at the workplace, be it family, be it in professional settings. People should be better after they
Absolutely.
encounter you.
Hey,
And
that
so
is
how do you
powerful.
do that? And that's man, woman, child, it doesn't matter. People should be better after they have experienced you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, since the last time so your babies are 2.5 years old,
Yes,
right?
ma'am. Yes,
And
ma'am.
can you just tell us their names because the way that you describe their names is just beauty. So I just wanted you to speak their names for
Absolutely.
us.
So Ozaram and Ozirim, and those are both Igbo names. And Ozaram means God answered my prayers. And Ozirim means God sent me. And it is very intentional. Nothing, nothing in life is by accident. I don't believe in coincidence. And so the journey to me becoming a mother was it was not your traditional journey. And I wish women talked about that more as well, just the journey of surrogacy and the journey of, when you are told you're of advanced maternal age, anything
Yes.
37, which is ridiculous. But, and you're on a journey different than what you had anticipated as a child.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, and thank you for doing that. It's just something about how you speak their names and how powerful a name is, and how they already have greatness on them.
Absolutely. Speak it, speak it.
Yes, and I love how you said they're angels. I love it.
I'm gonna keep because I was calling them my little terrorists, and I was told power in the tongue, power
Yes.
in the tongue. So my angel, big boss, go-getters. That's who they are.
Yeah, so okay, let's dig into some stuff now.
Mhm.
So, I've been interviewing a lot of people just trying to see kind of where we are. We keep hearing the statistics about burnout and people leaving, their jobs and things like
Mhm.
that. So, what do you see in your world now? I think you have a different role now, but what do you see now?
It's a mix. I think that we are in this post-COVID world of trying to figure out what normal is. And, one of the greatest things that the pandemic did was it brought across this ability and this realization for remote work and a
Yes.
respect for it in different ways. Now, there's a balance. There's some industries where remote work is really not ideal, but they're really, in many situations and settings, this hybrid model is very effective and it gives more freedom and balance
Yes.
to everyone in the workforce dependent. And I think those are choices that are out there that need to be made. So there is a lot that's happening around what do work norms now look like? What does it look like to have mandatory time that you have to be in the office now, which quite frankly for many feels punitive. And so
Right.
there's reaction to that, which causes people to sort of step back or check out or want to do different. I think there is a lot that's happening around with the hybrid model as well. Barriers are blurred in terms of what is work time and what is not work time. And
Yes.
so, because those lines are blurred, it is not, it's still this sort of nonstop routine unless you can self-regulate. And so you have people who don't know or don't have the ability to shut it off and to shut it down. And so it is exhausting. If you are on and every time you look up, you never actually close the computer, you never actually turn off your phone. So
Yeah.
the pings are coming in, the messaging is coming in. And even if someone says, I don't expect you to respond right now, there is, a lot of people have sort of that natural inclination to, well, if this is coming at me now, I need to respond now. I need to be. And so I think there's, the struggle with that. I think the other thing is, we spent a lot of time immediately post-pandemic really focused on mental health and mental well-being and overall wellness. And, I think we need to continue to reignite that as a reminder and a remembrance because it is very easy to fall back into old habits. And so, I think we're in this place where, what are they calling it? Quiet quitting.
Yeah.
Um, and there's quite a there is quite a bit of that happening. People becoming disgruntled or dissatisfied, as living the sandwich generation right now. That is real. It is very, very real, dealing
Yeah.
with small children and dealing with aging parents. And so, you don't know what each day is going to bring. And so it's also figuring out what your rhythm, your flexibility is within all of those parameters because it's not the same. And everybody's journey and situation is different. So even though I said sandwich generation, my sandwich looks very different than someone else's.
Right, right. You said something really important there, because I recently retired July 5th, so I'm like in my third month,
Keep rubbing it
and
in, keep rubbing it in. Go ahead.
and it's super exciting. But I do want to go to this because the blurring of lines is so, I mean, it's a thing and it's huge. And I think about like once I stopped, my son, he was like, "Mom, I'm so glad that you're not
Mm,
looking at your phone." Because like I'm always looking at my phone. I'm always like carrying it with me like it was one of those things that I couldn't necessarily put down. And so what I've noticed is there was a period of time when I think it was like about the first 2 weeks, I had to really walk through and work through a lot of the unspoken trauma that I faced while I was dealing with certain things while I was at work. But I stayed so busy, I didn't even know because I'm pretty positive. You see me smiling, you look like everything's perfect, and everything was perfect. But there's my soul that was in this turmoil
yeah.
within. And so when I finally left, I had to like really get those layers, start peeling away those layers of trauma and moral injury, whatever else I found, I let it surface to the top. But check this out.
Mm.
Charlene tried to stay busy when I said I was going to get quiet.
Of course.
Yes. So it was
Do I
like
look
a
surprised? Do I look surprised?
no,
Okay.
because I
Going
had
down.
to like take my brain and say, no, you will not do anything for a month. You are going to just sit and you're going to
Mm.
just receive whatever it is that comes to you. Go out in nature, do your thing. And it was such like that first week was such a struggle. And I was like, man, I have been programmed to be busy. And that has got to stop. And so our well being is so critical, and we don't recognize it while we're
Mhm.
in the grind. We know we're busy, we're tired, we're exhausted. But until you can get like really quiet, like I was able to get like really quiet, there's nobody bothering me now. There's nobody expecting this from me. There's nobody that I have to fix something for. And so it was painful, but it was beautiful at the same time. And so it was really a wonderful experience. So that really like I thought about that when you said, that blurring of lines, like if you are working from home, like there has to be an intentional, deliberate on purpose. No,
Absolutely.
you will not do that. So yeah.
Well, you said something that we also take for granted. When you're taking all of this on and you're in the moment, your children are watching.
Yeah.
They are watching and they are learning. You're teaching them how they should show up, either how they should or should not show up based on your actions and your response. And when you talked to it hit me a little bit. I actually got a little choked up when you talked about, your son talking about the phone. My girls are 2.5, and I've had two incidents that, will share with you. One was, my daughter looked me straight in the face and said, Mommy, put your phone down and come play with me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Smart.
She's 2.5.
I
She
know.
told me to put my phone down so I could come and play with her. And I was in the middle of, and I had something set, it was deadline, and I literally just set my phone down and was like, nobody's gonna die.
Yep.
And but that's real. That's real talk. So, and to, second story, and this happened 2 days ago. We can't function without our phones. And I
I
have
know.
two of them, right? I have two of them. So
Yes.
I'm getting ready, I'm trying to get out the door, and I could not find my phone. And I can't leave the house. I'm running late. It was almost 40 minutes, and I'm pulling my hair out, and I'm sitting down. I finally just sat down, and I was like, I don't know where my stuff is. And my daughter was like, Mommy, what's wrong? And I was like, Mommy can't find her phone. And she started giggling.
Uh-oh.
Do you know where Mommy's phone is? Did you take Mommy's phone? And she ran. She had put my phone in her toy box because she knew that I wouldn't leave home if I didn't have my phone. So that was her way of keeping me home.
Oh my God, that is good.
Right. So they're watching.
Yeah, they
They are
are.
watching.
Yeah, I remember just even on this conversation, I remember my son, he did homeschool. And I remember I went to day shift.
Hmm.
I think I went to day shift. And then we were sitting down by the fireplace and I was like reading a book and I got so choked up because at that time I was doing nights. So,
Hmm.
if I am awake during the daytime, I was a zombie. And so there was a lot of moments I don't really remember. And so I was actually reading the book and tears was in my eyes because it was like the first time that I actually sat and read to him. And that he was like in the fifth grade or something like that. It was like uh older grade. So when my kids say, like my daughter, she wants me to do a TikTok and she wants me to she wants me to put things that I wish I would have done differently when I was 30 or 40 or something like that. And I start really reflecting on that and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like it's kind of deep
Hmm.
because you've messed it up so much when you were like for me, I was grinding so much and oh man, I gotta work, I gotta do this. And then when you really at the end of the day, not really. Like thinking about it now, there's so much that I would have did differently. So that's beautiful.
It is, but I want to push you on that one though,
Push
because
me,
you didn't
please.
miss up. I will, because you didn't miss up. You made the choices that you needed to make at that time. And had you
Yes.
not made those choices, your children would not be who they are today, and you would not be who you are today.
I
So,
love that.
if
Thank you.
given other circumstances, yeah, you may have made other decision points, but it wasn't a mistake.
Yeah.
It was not a mistake.
I like that.
It's a
That's good.
choice
Thank
that
you.
you made, and there are implications for your choices. And so now I wish I could have had different implications for the choices that I made.
Okay, I love that. I love how you said that. Okay, I received that in its fullness. Okay, so now you know what I wanted to talk about? The pink couch. Oh my gosh.
Yes, yes, yes.
I saw that the other day and I was like, okay, this is like amazing. So please tell us a little bit about that.
So, um, the official pink couch, it's really a labor of love of myself and two very dear girlfriends. And it was birthed out of pain, right? And it was,
Mm,
how do we leverage our pain to do good? And we had a very, very dear friend who it's been 8 years now, 8 years ago, um, passed away, complications of childbirth. And I was actually there when she coded and bled out. And I
mm,
will tell you the realities of the maternal mortality rates and maternal mortality rates for women of color was not something that was on the forefront of my mind. It wasn't something that I was really knowledgeable about. And one of the things that we had a group of girlfriends, and we would all like powwow on somebody's couch, or we'd be all in someone's bed, or we'd be all, we are grown women, but it was like we had very thick, strong girlfriend ties. And we would talk we would talk everything. And so the premise of the pink couch is really, how do you have those difficult conversations and have those conversations from the comfort of a couch? And so we explore everything. We explore maternal mortality, we explore politics, we explore, racial disparities, we explore workplace issues, we explore if there is something there, no topic is off the table. And I think that's the beauty of it. And then the charge for all of us out of it is what is important is it's great to have a conversation, but I don't want to talk about it if we're not going to be about it. So, how do we do something as a
Yeah,
result of any cup? If we're talking about mental health, what are we going to do? And make it very tangible. We can't all solve, for world peace,
right.
but I can make an effort to, I'm going to call 5 people on my list of strong friends this week and make sure they're okay.
That's beautiful.
Right? How do you make things very practical and tangible? I'm going to make sure that I'm encouraging people to vote,
Yes,
right? I'm going to educate people on, a particular perspective or point of view. There's all kind of things that we have the power to do. And I think that's the other thing about the pink couch. It is the only limit on yourself is you.
yes.
So what if you just decided that you weren't going to acknowledge that you have those limits? So that is sort of and it's an opportunity to be very real because we don't always get it right. I
Right.
definitely don't always get it right.
Oh, yeah. That's why I
And
love
so
that statement.
it is. You have people to also hold you accountable, to lift you up while also holding you accountable.
Well, that is wonderful. Hey, so have you had mentors in your life?
I have had I have had so many mentors. I have been so blessed in that area where I have had people who have poured into me, who have advised me, who have taken me under their wing. Um, and I think the best piece of advice that one mentor early on gave me was my only ask is that you pay it forward.
Yes.
Excuse me. And I think that that is something that gets lost is because you get poured into. And I've had people advise me on from how to dress, how I should show up, in terms of going for a particular role or going out to meet a potential partner,
Right.
in personal or in life, right? How do I show up? What do I need to say? What do I, and mentors come in all shapes and forms. And guess what? I've had mentors who are not older than me. I have
Awesome.
people who have poured into me and guided me from all kinds of different demographics. And I think that's the beauty of just being open to there are people who have things that they can contribute into your life. What are you going to be open to receiving?
Yeah. Yeah, that's wonderful. So now you obviously mentor because you're always like doing things for groups. I mean, I've seen you in the women's space. So what else are you doing as far as mentoring others?
I think there are a few things. I sit on different boards, and so mostly not-for-profit boards now. And so I spend a lot of time mentoring, not just, in the workplace, but sort of how do you make a difference and how do you make an impact outside of your day to day? How do you find you? And part of it is, it becomes a journey because, don't ask me to coach you and mentor you on how to find balance. That's not my gift, right?
Yes.
I can tell you what I've heard about. I can tell you what I've seen work for other people. And I think that's the other piece, just kind of, the honesty around what you do, what you know, and what you don't know. Right now, and I think there are a few things that are really, driving passion for me. I'm now working at a medical school, which is a whole different world and accountabilities and what have you. And so there are a couple of things that are driving me now. One, the planet.
Yes.
I think about the pollution that is in our planet and the same sort of populations are hit. Um, Disenfranchised populations are the ones that are hit and who are reaping the worst from what is happening in the world around us. And so, how do
Right.
we do better? So, if you think about environmental health, sort of physical health, economic health, all of those things are tied together. And who are the people who are most negatively impacted? People of color, the
Right.
elderly, those who are in, different financial constraints. And so you think about that, and it's like, how then do we help to serve the least of us to pull up all of us, to raise the tide for all of us? So a lot in the environmental space, and shout out to Center for Environmental Health, which is a board that I sit in, which is really doing incredible, powerful things for moving toxins, in our day-to-day lives. Um, and holding people accountable for it. I think with that, so there's the environmental piece. There's also just community in general. I'm pouring into my home community. There's work that I'm doing, the nonprofit O2 USA, which is really working on really advancing in the areas of education and opportunity for people in Eastern Nigeria. And so it's, what's the work, what can happen there. So that's where I spend a lot of my time outside. And then, also figuring out, how to be a mom.
Yes, that's a big
That
one.
there is no manual, not one that
No.
I'm following. So
No, that's what I was saying. I was like, yeah, man, I didn't get a manual on marriage and I did not get one on
that will
kids.
that's a book we can write together.
Yes, we
Why
could.
didn't you tell me?
I know. I did not know all of this. Yeah. But so EJ, I'm wondering if there's someone out there today and they're a little discouraged and perhaps even stuck in their role, perhaps. Is there anything that you would encourage them with? Because I think people are still struggling. Like I have seen people still struggling post pandemic, especially inside the hospital, which is why really I felt compelled to go outside and to create something for those people. And so, what would you say to people that are kind of stuck and they're trying to move forward and they just are stuck?
Spending some time focused on yourself is not selfish. And that actually is going to equip you and enable you to do more and to be there and to show up both for yourself and for those who are expecting you and needing you to show up for them. I am the biggest advocate of having your personal board of directors. I don't care if it's two of them, I don't care if it's 10 of them, but finding people who are going to hold you accountable, who are going to hold a mirror to you. Some of them, don't let them all be your friends,
Right,
right? You need a community of people who some of are going to be, they're doing what I want, what I think I want to be doing. They're where or closer to where I want to be than where I am. Let me pull them into, let me pull in people who I know who are truth tellers, right? Who are not going to just go, get along to go along if I say something.
right.
And so figure out those people and then ask them, what do you think are my biggest strengths? What do you come to me for? When you pick up the phone to call me, what are the things? Why are you calling me? What is it that? And if there was one piece of advice that you could give me, what would that be? And then sit back and listen. Don't combat it. Don't argue. Don't try to explain. You can ask questions for clarification, but you have people around you who see in you what you don't see in yourself. And so allow them to pour back into you and then challenge you to do better.
Mm,
And I think, there are many times where I've gone back and I have different, I have different boards of advisors, my personal advisors who I go to. And when I need that reset, that is definitely an area I go to because they will take that minute and stop and say, mm-mm. And then I also have these lovely, and I don't get paid for this, let me be clear, but I am a mantra bracelet queen, right? And
ah,
it's on purpose because sometimes you just need to remind yourself.
yes.
So I have different ones, and I just will look down and I'm like, it is well with my soul. And I just sit in it. It is well with my soul.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
I'll look down and it says, hmm, this says, be you, love you, always, always. right? And so it's what are those things? What are you saying to yourself? How are you encouraging yourself? How are you, and I won't use the exact words because I know you have a mixed audience, but I saw a band the other day, a bracelet. I ordered it. Yes, I'm that one. And literally what it said was, remember who the F you are.
Mm,
And sometimes you just have to sit back and remember all these things are happening. You spoke about it, when you talked about sort of taking that step back and retiring, and actually having that moment to say, huh, I'm not dealing with all of these things anymore. You got to remember who you are and that you
yeah.
have a calling and you have a purpose, and all of the other stuff is noise.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what I've found is like you get so lost in your occupation that you forget about the vocation. So when I always knowing that I had those two aligned, the vocation and occupation, and that one day my vocation was going to overshadow the occupation, it has been like the amazing thing because getting lost within a profession is
Mhm.
very, very challenging and it's very, very real. Like some people don't even know who they are. Like I am more than a nurse. Not saying anything that's wrong with that, but I'm human. I'm humanity. I'm more than that. There's something else that I've been called to do. And so being able to like empower people to see that, you know what, it's you're more than that. If
Mhm.
this is what makes you happy, that's great. If this is your passion, it's great, but you don't have to stay stuck if this is like really bringing you down. So I love that. Thank you so much for that. I love the bracelets too. I think that's great. I have my
It
little
is.
mantras in the morning. Like my
Mhm.
favorite mantra is I walk in undisturbed composure. And I
Mm.
started that about maybe 15 years ago because when I went into leadership, everybody tried to disturb me before I even hit, as soon as I look at the phone, there's disturbances happening.
Mhm.
So I had to figure out how to be one up on it. And I just start declaring it until I literally said it so much it became who I was. And so when
Say it again. Say it again.
I showed up with this like force field around me of undisturbed composure. And I was not going to let any dart come through it because
Mhm.
that's what they tried. People were trying to like take you there to make you shift your character. And I refused to let that happen. And it became so clear that I literally start witnessing that I was shifting atmospheres when I walked in like that. So it was, those mantras are really powerful. And it
Mhm.
reminds you. So when I felt myself spiraling, spinning out, I had locked that into my heart already. So I was able to go back to it and say, okay, let me reset. I'm back. Okay, let's go now. So I love that. Thank you so much for that. I'm curious though.
Mhm.
What's next? What's next for Egypt? What do you see for our future? Like literally in your space where you are
Mhm.
in healthcare as a whole and the medical profession, like what do you see as the future, knowing everything that's going on around us?
I think personalization is going to elevate itself to levels as never before.
Mm,
Everything is tied to, because everything right now is so uber connected and you can access everything at the drop of a dime, right?
yes.
So your ability to be able to access your information, your access to a physician, your access to your colleagues, your access to whoever, um, the expectation that there is a delay is no longer acceptable,
Right.
right? We are very much an on-demand society. And so I think more of that sort of personalization and customization. And this is not sort of the generic, here is Costco, come and find anything and everything.
Yeah.
We serve all.
Right.
People are really looking for you to say, I see you.
Mm,
I see you. And so here is the niche that I've created, that is because I see you and I see what your need is and I see what your desires are and I see what your circumstances are. And so we are here to fill, and fill that need. I think the other thing that we're seeing is that um, people are really focused on a cause and purpose,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
People want to be tied to something that is bigger than themselves. And I think, we went through a phase where that was not the case.
Right.
through cycles. It was not the case. It was all about me. We
Yep.
won't talk about masking. That's a whole nother one. So take us down a path.
Yeah.
But um, but people are really right now, it is this is bigger than me. So how do I contribute to something? They want to be tied to something.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who come into the workplace now who I'm interviewing who want to know, so what do you do? Like
Yeah.
for real? Like, what are you doing that's making a difference? And I don't want lip service. Show me the
Right.
receipts. And so I think that's when I think about the future, I think about a lot of personalization and I think of a lot of thing, um, mission and purpose focused activity.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I totally agree with you on that. And it has been so wonderful to have you on the show. But before we go, we have got to get these nuggets from Miss EJ. So if I had to do EJ's top three, what would that be?
Ooh. Um, I think number one um, is choose joy. We all have a choice to make every day, every moment, and it is you have a choice, even when every circumstance is coming your way and they're coming and they're hitting. You have to, I encourage you to take a moment and make the choice. It's your choice and choose joy. I choose to have joy. I choose to celebrate. I choose to see what is possible in this situation. I think the second one is, my former boss and mentor used to say every day he would look for the beautiful moments.
Mm,
Find a beautiful moment every day. It could be anything. It could be my father's laugh. It could be I got to read a chapter of a book. It could be I made all the green lights this morning. It doesn't, but find those beautiful moments every day. And I guarantee you, it doesn't matter how dark your day is, there is a beautiful moment in there.
yes.
There is a beautiful moment in there. Um, and I think the last one, which I am learning to exercise, and it's a muscle we have to practice, is no is a complete sentence.
Okay. That part.
No, someone makes it, no,
Yeah.
you there are very few people who you owe an explanation, a justification. No is a suitable answer. And no and be quiet. You don't have to do any more than that.
Yeah.
So those would be the three I would
Oh
I
my
would
gosh,
give
that's
today.
okay. That last one, that was a mic drop right there. Because, like, about 2 years before I retired, that I learned that of saying no. And I learned it because I found that quote that says, "You don't die when your heart stops beating, you die when your heartbeats have no meaning." And so
Hmm.
I start choosing to say no to things that did not align with my core values and where I was headed. And it was the most powerful thing that I have ever done in
Mhm.
the profession, because then I was able, because Charlene was always like doing everything. "Oh, okay, could you fill in here? Could you do this? Could you do
Yeah.
that?" And you're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah," trying to whatever I was trying to do. But that reality came when I was like, "Oh my God, your heartbeats are so you are so almost depressed trying to
Mhm.
do everything else for everybody else. It is time for you to get self-compassion to yourself and to be true to yourself and to do you now and forever." And so in
Mhm.
2022 is when I took that on, and that's really what led me to do what I needed to do to early retire and start this new business that I'm going to start and jump out into the deep. So I wanted to just say something to you, because I thank you for being you, because I've had conversations with you and your conversations are so edifying and empowering, especially as a Black leader. I
Mhm.
needed to hear from somebody that looked like me. And you were like that person. And I'm just so grateful for you and your mentorship and your ability to just speak into women's lives so that they can be who God called them to be, honestly. And so just want to, just deep gratitude for you and always being open. You're like, oh, you can call me anytime, and that just like meant so much to me. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. And yes,
She's amazing. So, what if someone wants to get in touch with you, EJ? Especially give us some more information on when the pink couch. I mean, is it every week or how does that happen?
we new content we have out monthly.
Okay.
Go to at the official pink couch.
All right.
You can find me on Instagram at there's a lot of places that you can find me, but you can find me at EJ Speaks, IJE Speaks, on Instagram. And for my professional folks, go ahead and find me on LinkedIn. I'm an easy find. And
Okay.
please feel free to reach out. Now, if you reach out, here's another nugget just for those who I love. Please send a note and make the connection. When people send these blind, just whoo, here is a, I don't, you give me something to work with. I want to know you, so let me know.
That's beautiful. I love that. She's so real, y'all. But that's so true. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I just love you and all that you're about. And thank you for blessing our audience with your virtue. I know that other people will be impacted by your story and your wisdom gems. So thank you again for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And thank you for being truly and wholly and fully you. And I just encourage you, don't stop. We need you.
Greetings and thank you so much for joining When the Moment Chooses You. I hope you enjoyed that episode. Hey, I'm coming before you because I wanted to make an announcement. This is Coach Charlene, of course, and I will be going on sabbatical. And sabbatical is so important for me, or I'm going to pause for the month of December from recording for When the Moment Chooses You. You know why I'm pausing? Because it's important to do that, especially when you're exiting out of one year and entering into another. I like to say that I am getting ready to lock and load for 2025. I had a phenomenal year in 2024. I had an opportunity to early retire and then now to dream and to build. And that is exactly what I'm doing. So I will be announcing all of the different beautiful things that I'm doing. And I hope you would love to be a part of it in 2025. So I look forward to seeing you. I am going to do one more episode, and that will air the first week of December. I want to just talk about some learnings that I've had over the year, as well as what is getting ready to happen. And it is exciting. So thank you so much for listening to the podcast, for watching the podcast. It really, really blesses me to know that the content that I create can inspire and touch other people's lives. I absolutely love interviewing trailblazers and change agents that dare to dream, that dared to disrupt their system or themselves, and they became something very different, or they could cause something to shift or something to be better. And that's like really what it's all about. I really strive to be better every day that I wake up. And so my goal is to help all of us be the highest expression of ourselves. And so we can do the things that we were called to do. So make sure, if you have not yet, and I know some of you haven't, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I want to start growing that channel. I'm just being real. I want to start growing it a little bit more because I have time now, and I'm going to be a little bit more engaged in having some live shows and things like that. So if you want to be a guest, make sure that you reach out to me and just send me a little link, a little message somewhere, anywhere on my platforms. You can even email me at momentswcoachcharlene at Gmail, and I would love to hear your story. So thank you so much for listening and your support. And I wish you a wonderful season of gratitude. I hope that you can look back on the things, even if they didn't go your way, you can still find some brightness, some sunshine in some of the days that you had, some of the heartbeats that you did share, because I guarantee you, if you look, you will see it, you will find it. So thank you for listening, and I will see you soon. I want to thank you for tuning in to another inspiring episode of When the Moment Chooses You. I'm your host, Coach Charlene, and it's been an absolute pleasure. Each journey we've shared today is a reminder that when the moment chooses you, the possibilities are endless.